Warlow from Business Loan Services, and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, my weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. So what have I got for you this week? Well, we're going to be looking at a new initiative that's just recently been announced by the government to help increase access to credit for small businesses. Also be looking at the latest news in the crowdfunding sector, and this week an interview with the Business Development Director from Challenger Bank, Aldermore, on what it's doing to help small businesses grow. So let's start off with an announcement by David Cameron, the Prime Minister, earlier this week at a British Chamber of Commerce conference. Now, you can tell as I record this beginning of 2015 that it's the election year, so already the bribes are starting to be dropped on people's laps. And sure enough, the Prime Minister this week announced of a new scheme that they're proposing in order to help businesses grow. And the scheme, called Help to Grow, is designed to get credit to businesses. So what's the scheme about? Well, basically, the government said it's going to use its balance sheet to guarantee loans that are made by private investors to businesses. It's called mezzanine finance because they're proposing that the facilities that will be given by these private investors are a combination of debt and equity, called mezzanine finance. So the government will guarantee those loans and perhaps in some cases lend alongside the private investors. Now, the scheme is going to be managed by the British Business Bank, which is the umbrella organisation that the government has put together to house all of the various schemes that it's got. Now, they're going to be targeting businesses that are looking to borrow between £500,000 and £2 million. That's where they think that the funding gap and the problem lies. The British Business Bank has said that they're now going to start looking for potential partners to help put the product out there, and they're going to be pilot testing this in March with an initial tranche of money of about £100 million. They'll test it and then roll it out later in 2015 if the current government wins majority and get back into power. So, be interesting to see how that works, and obviously continue watching these bulletins, and when news comes out on the detail, we'll be sharing that with you. Now, what about the crowdfunding world generally? 2014, I mentioned in a previous bulletin summary of the year, well, another summary's come out by an organisation called AltFin, as in alternative finance, and by their reckoning, they think that the crowdfunding and alternative market scene lent out about £1.6 billion in 2014, and on their estimates, they think that's an increase of 141% against 2013, so a lot of growth there. Who's the fastest growing peer-to-peer lender? Well, they think it's Wellesley & Co. And they grew by 3,440%. So kind of rapid growth for that new entrant into the crowdfunding market. So it just shows again how things are going mainstream there. Now, what about the sector generally? Well, in April 2014, you may be aware that the government decided to start regulating the crowdfunding sector. So from the 1st of April, the Financial Conduct Authority took control. And they just recently did a mini review just to see how the sector was doing. And generally, the review has come out with a kind of good, clean bill of health. However, a couple of warning shots fired across the bows of many crowdfunding sites, particularly around the financial promotion aspect of the messages that the crowdfunding sector platforms get out there. Basically, the FCA thought on a few occasions the risks that potential investors or lenders were being asked to take weren't quite highlighted enough. So the platforms could be just emphasising the risk investors are taking. In general, they thought that sometimes they were too optimistic in the messages and not showing some of the downsides. Equally, they found that some sites were actually kind of comparing the returns that a private investor would get by lending to you, making a comparison between traditional savings accounts. Now, of course, if you're a private investor and lending money through crowdfunding, it is not a savings product. It's not savings. Your money is at risk. And the FCA just wanted to make sure that there are very clear signals on platforms for potential investors who are new to this game that it's not savings, it's not protected if you lose your money. The government won't come in and bail you out. So overall, the FCA felt that no additional legislation is needed, but obviously keeping the sector under review just to make sure that those messages that they're getting out are fair and balanced. Now, another alternative source of finance are the growing range of challenger banks. And myself and the Business Loan Services team early this week went out to a roadshow undertaken by Aldermore Bank. They were just sharing with commercial finance brokers the range of products and services that they've got to help small businesses grow. And I took the opportunity to have a chat with Keith Litherland, and he's the Business Development Director for Aldermore. And in this brief interview, I asked Keith, who are Aldermore Bank, and also asked him to explain a little bit about the commercial mortgage product that they have. So let's go to that interview now.
Hello Rob, yes, I'm Keith Litherland, the Business Development Manager for Aldermore. We're a new, as they call, challenger bank, established in 2009, and we do commercial mortgages, but over the time we have grown. We've introduced invoice financing, asset finance. We've actually launched from new a buy-to-let and residential mortgage arm, and in the commercial division we've also looking at property development, and currently we've just launched our new bridging product, so we can help with bridging, and also a bridging to term product, so any of your clients that are looking to improve a property, they can take out a short-term bridge and then we can take it out on a mortgage. And through the obviously having a banking license, we can do the savings, and we've got quite a range of good products to have, and ISAs, so happy to look at anything in that field. From my particular expertise, we can lend on offices, factories, warehouses, commercial investments, HMOs, houses of multiple occupation, which are very popular with the professional landlords. So if you've anything you need to look at, do give me a call. Thanks very much.
So on the commercial mortgage side, what kind of loan to value do you look at? What kind of contributions do you expect from businesses?
Generally, we can look up to 75% against the market or investment value. For larger loans, we may scale it back to 70%, but it's generally each case on its merits, and we're happy to talk to anybody on their particular needs. We do have obviously credit policy with rules, but there's always exceptions to this, and if we can make a good case for an exception on this, we will certainly put it forward, and we've done 75% up to several million in the past, so yes, we will look at doing a bespoke deal for the right person, yes.
So there we are. If you want to know more about Aldermore, just go along to their website, aldermore.co.uk, and you'll find a lot more information about the range of services. Equally, if you need some assistance, don't forget you can always just give us a call or drop us an email, info@businessloanservices.co.uk. So that's it for this week. As ever, I hope you enjoyed and found the video useful. If you did, please feel free to share the link amongst your colleagues, and just show that access to finance can be a little bit easier with the right information and the right help. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much. I look forward to being with you again next Friday. Have a great, successful and profitable week. Bye-bye now.